Good afternoon. I would like to briefly share with you the story that has shaped my life and my journey as an entrepreneur. I am the seventh child in my family, the only woman among six brothers. From a very young age, I understood that I have to carve out my own path in a predominantly male environment, which taught me to be strong, consistent, and confident in my abilities. In 1990, I began working with my father in his scaffolding and formwork companies. There, I learned everything from the basics to the full operation of the business. Years later, in 1998, when he decided to close his companies, he gave me the opportunity to purchase his machinery. That moment was decisive. I took the risk and founded my own company that the name is Construsystem and Metapisi. From the beginning, I had a clear vision to innovate. I wanted to find a way to build houses in less time, and together with an engineer, we developed monolithic molds, a technology that allows walls and slabs to be poured simultaneously, making it possible to build a house in a single day. We successfully patented this innovation in 2000. At that time, no such solution existed in Mexico. With the growth of the housing sector in the country, many construction companies placed their trust in our system. It was a period of significant growth during which our molds were widely sold and rented. As in any entrepreneurial journey, I also face important challenges. Our technology was copied by competitors with proper recognition. However, that did not stop our progress or the impact we achieved in the industry. In 2020, during the pandemic, my son Peter took over as CEO of my company. Today I feel deeply proud to see him lead with capability and vision. I continue to support the company, actively participating in financial oversight and operations. Currently, our companies, Construsystem and Metapisi, are in a very important stage of growth, the result of years of hard work, innovation, and perseverance. If I had to summarize my story, it would be this: opportunities do not always come to you. You often have to create them. And when they do arise, you must have the courage to seize them. Thank you very much to all of you.
Three entrepreneur women from totally different industries, from home decoration to engineering simulation, and my favorite brand in Turkey, Nebyan. So I'm very happy to be with them, and I'm eager to listen their stories, because I always admire the women who are brave, who are doing their own business, who has an entrepreneur soul, but I'm sure it's not easy. So I'm going to ask same question, but first of all, can you just talk about a little bit yourself, about who are you? Which word defines you? So I will go by.
Okay, thank you. Hi, everyone. Sorry, I was enjoying my lunch, but I'm Nazlı, co-founder of Nebyan Doğal, and thank you so much. So that's my definition of success. I think you'll have it in your questions, but I am the co-founder of a brand which is called Nebyan Doğal and Bafs Naturals, and we have a food system where we have the local producers in rural Anatolia. We take their products, we turn them into value-added food products and sell them globally, and also in Turkey. We have our own stores, we have an online presence, and we sell dog treats as well to global, basically.
Hi, it's such an honor to be here in this beautiful city, which literally bridges the East and the West. It feels very personal to me because I was born in a very small village in China we didn't have electricity until I was second grade. So my grandma was a weaver, and I used to learn how to weave, sit next to her, the old wooden loom. And when the thread breaks, I got, very frustrated. She always tell me when life is like weaving, when the thread breaks, you tie the knot, you keep going. So little as I know, that was the first life lesson I learned. I was the only girl went to the high school from my village. One day I read a story about this woman and has the same background like me, and she left her village, went to south of China, started as a factory worker, then later own her business. So she gave me the permission to dream beyond my circumstances. So I left my village, went to Beijing, started as a hotel maid, then little small dry clean business. When I was 26 years old, I came to the United States, started as a nanny, barely speak English, then later started the design, and in 2008, during the financial crisis with 1-year-old baby, I started Lush Decor. That small dream later became over $100 million business. So it's a long journey, but it's nothing about as smooth. When the first year into the business, my business partner fired me and called the police, escorted me out of my own company. That was the darkest time in my life. But I think overall I think the journey really helped me to, today I'm not just building business, I'm a dream weaver. I'm weaving dreams with a lot of the women across the global and through the Dream Weavers Foundation. So I'm very happy to be here. Thank you.
Thank you so much. I'm a geologist by background, and I wanted to work in oil industry, petroleum industry. As scholarship in petroleum companies, they were very happy with me, so I applied for a job. And they told me, but miss, you don't believe so. You are a woman. I thought, I'm a human, but I'm not equal, because I've been told you are a woman. So I decided to do an MBA, and then I changed completely the area. I worked for fluid mechanics, developing software in fluid mechanics and launching that software in Europe first. Then I was chased by an American company who wanted to set up their subsidiary in France, and then an Italian company. And after a while, I thought, but you are developing company for the others. Why not creating your own company? And at the same time, I was always thinking about that phrase, but you don't believe so, you are a woman. And I said, okay, it's some employers' federation. I should join them and impose myself. And through that federation, they were refusing me for different mandates. They were asking for candidates. But each time it was the same. You are a woman. And I said, but is it an association of women, of business women, women owners? And they told me, yes, it is an association. And I discovered FCEM, which is a world association of women entrepreneurs who started in France in 1945. And today we are represented in more than 100 countries, and we have more than 2 million members. And that helped me a lot in my career to do networking. I'm a strong believer in networking. It's why I really admire Irene for what she's doing to gather women from all around the world on different topics, not only economy and business, because networking is really key for developing the activity.
Thank you very much. So, let's.
I know it's hard not to talk at lunch, but we have women who came from France, United States, and yes, here. So let's respect them so we can still eat, but if we could not talk, that would be great. Okay? Is that a deal? Show their video.
So, before going to the next question, all of our entrepreneurs have their videos, which is showing their business. So let's start with Nebyan, Nazlı, and see the others.
We've transformed our 400-year-old tradition of livestock heritage into a business model by creating a traceable, honest, healthy food system. We founded Nebyan Doğal in 2014 to connect local farmers with urban consumers. We deliver this invaluable source of protein to cities with the highest standards. Our farmers earn a fair income and they stay in their land to continue doing what they know best, production, whereas our consumers enjoy traceable, healthy, and honest food. We also produce high protein, additive free natural dog treats by upcycling byproducts of our meat processing system. As pet families, we believe they deserve to eat healthy food as much as we do. With Babs Naturals, we're now present in 17 countries across the globe, from Iceland to Singapore. This year, it is our 12th anniversary, and we work every day with the same enthusiasm and determination to create better living in rural and better eating in urban for humans and pets.
Nazlı, let me start with you. As I mentioned, I'm really a good customer of you. And I find the idea very valuable, but I'm sure it was hard. When your business just beginning to traction, what was the biggest challenge that you faced that time? And now, how did it evolve? So is it the same challenge or you have now new challenges?
Yeah, so we started in 2014 when there was no e-commerce in Turkey. We didn't buy, you couldn't even go and Google natural meat. You just had to go search for yourself and ask your butcher, but still not be so sure if what you're feeding to your child and your family is really something good. And that video is actually from my homeland. That's from Black Sea, Samsun, Bafra. This is where our family comes from, and we have a heritage of animal husbandry over 400 years over there. And I spent a lot of time there with the animals, with the livestock in the highlands, and I know how valuable that source of protein is because the lamb over there is raised in the pasture of the highlands. It's fed with the grass over there, it has the air, and it drinks the water from there, and it's an unbelievably healthy protein source for all of us. And with my motherhood journey, I've realized, okay, I need to find the best food for my family, for my daughters, and I've seen that it's a very common problem for women living in urban. So you're actually an exact typical profile, which I'm very happy to hear that. So I'm bringing you the product of my animals from 2,000 meter high in the highland with no electricity, just like you said, and bringing it to Levant, and you can just order and you'll have it next day in your home. So this is a whole food system. We raise the animals, we work with the local producers, and we trace everything from the birth of the animal to the delivery of the goods. But as you said at the beginning, this wasn't the case. Our problem was the trust, getting the confidence of people. We didn't have a store, we didn't have a brand. People didn't even know why they should be eating natural meat. Meat is just meat. That was back in 2014. So we had to do a lot of, we had to be really transparent, a lot of storytelling, and prove that we're a good company at every order. So at first, the challenge was to get the customers believe in us. But now, this is our 12th year. Obviously, we've grown. We've reached over 100,000 customers. We have 5 stores. We're the leading e-commerce in Turkey. And our challenge now is to grow the business globally. So I've built a brand and a success story in Turkey, but now I'm looking to grow without the borders with Baus Naturals brand, which is our second business. That's the dog treats that we produce from the byproducts of the meat production. So now it's time to make people believe Baus is a trustable brand with natural, healthy food and a traceable food system.
Yeah, keeping the trust and ensuring the same quality is also a big challenge when you get bigger.
Exactly.
So, thank you.
So,
Now, can we have the video of Lush Decor, Jenny?
Hi, my name is Jenny Jingju. I was born in a very small village in China where we didn't have electricity until 2nd grade. But I had something even more powerful, is that belief that my life could be bigger than what I could see. When I was 26 years old, I came to the United States with 2 suitcases, not much English. I started as a nanny while quietly built this dream. That dream became Lush Decor, a home brand built on the idea that everyone deserves something, that feeling when they walk into their space. Not just comfort, but identity, possibility, and beauty. Over time, the business grew into over 100 million profitable business. But growth didn't just build the company, it built me. It led me to tell my story through my memoir, Dreamweaver, and later brought to life through the short film. I have learned that when we share our stories, we give others permission to believe in their own. Today, my next chapter is Dreamweavers Foundation, an initiative dedicated to educating, empowering, and supporting the dreamers, especially women who are building their own. Because success to me is no longer just what I build. It is who I'm able to lift as I build it. This is only the beginning.
Jenny, the same question. What was your biggest challenge when your business get traction? And then is it the same challenge or your challenge is evolving? How do you handle those?
So when I started the business in 2008, that's during the financial crisis, my son was 1 year old. I didn't have playbook. I didn't have safety net. All I had was urgency, the instinct, and a lot of fear. So it's really, in the beginning, my English was not that good. I spoke the broken English. So every night I was struggling, can I make this business real before I run out the money, run out the energy, and run out the courage? So that's the earliest challenge is for the survive. Then later, when the company grew and the private equity came in, and then that started with total different challenges. And you have a lot of more people, you have inventory, you have the system. I think at that time, it becomes a challenge while the business grows, how you can not lose yourself. And a lot of entrepreneurs know is like when you grow a successful business, but you grow you're running yourself to the ground, which you burn out. You couldn't, as women, we all have so much priorities. You have the family, you wanted to be the great mother, you want to be a best wife, you wanted to be the best boss. So sometimes that things can really burn you out. So I went through so many challenges with a lot of therapy and a lot of panic attack. And in the end of the day, I really learned and business is important. And if you do not take care of yourself and it become empty cup and you lose your relationship, that growth really become empty.
Thank you very much. And, so how was it? What was your challenge? Now, how did you handle it? And how it looks like now?
First of all, I'm really impressed by Jenny's background. And I can measure how lucky I was to born in France and to have, I would say, quite a lot of advantage. When I started my own company, even if I was already known by a lot of my future customers, I had to impose myself in a world of men, of technical world, at 3 levels. The first level was with my own employees, engineers. Because myself, as I said, I was a geologist. I was not a fluid mechanics engineer. So they were, at the beginning, testing me. Until one day I told them, but if I was president of Louis Vuitton, would you ask him if he knows how to sew a bag? It's the same for us. I don't need, but anyway, I can show you. So my business is all about equations. It's why I didn't show any product, any production, because it's based on equations. I had to impose myself also in business. When visiting prospects or customers, it happened that people were looking at me as if I was a secretary. And I can give you a small anecdote. I went to one of the major in aerospace industry. I was with an engineer who was a bit younger than me, but almost the same. And at the reception, the woman said to him, "Could you ask your secretary to go to park the car because it will be a bit long to do all the administrative things." It happened a few times like that I had to say, "No, I'm the boss." Or even it was him who said, "You know, she's my boss." And then, as I said earlier, on the economic level, all the major clubs, employers' federation, and so on, are trusted by men. And still today, it's not so easy. If you look at the Chamber of Commerce, today I'm first vice chair of the World Chambers Federation. In France, we have quotas for Chamber of Commerce. 40% of women are elected members, but we don't have quotas for presidency, and it is less than 10%. So what I was facing at the beginning of my career as being in technical world, engineers in France, it's only today 20% of women. And not being an engineer, I had to impose myself. Today, still sometimes, even if I'm known in France, I have to impose myself in that main world, in an economic environment.
Thank you. So my second question will be about financing, because to scale up and grow the business, financing is always a challenge. So this time I will start with Marie and go. So Marie, where did you get initial support, and how did you manage the financial support or financial challenges that might be faced?
Finally, I counted on myself and my family, because when I started, first, when I opened the bank account for the company, it was a bank I knew, and it was a man, and he told me, "Are we waiting for your husband? Do you know when he will arrive?" I said, "Waiting for my husband? It's my company." He said, "Oh, you will be alone. maybe it will be more difficult to get a loan from us. I said, if I don't get from you, you are my bank, I will go somewhere else. So finally, he accepted to give me a very small loan. But as I'm selling software, I don't have to buy things in advance. And I have to pay people, of course. But I had already a portfolio of potential customers, so it was not so difficult. But this reaction of a banker saying, we are waiting for your husband, or you are a woman. Women are very well known for spending money, not earning money. And still today, some banks are still thinking that. At the opposite, some other banks knows that when a woman is asking for a loan, she will reimburse it. And she will never ask a second loan before to reimburse the first one. So now they like women and they do action for women. But maybe I'm in Europe, I'm in France, it's more easy.
And Jenny, for yours? Okay, sorry for Jenny.
So, I'm Asian, and I was taught from the culture I don't like borrow money. So when I started the business, I didn't realize that at that time it's hard to get the capital, but I was determined to bootstrap the company. I remember in the early days when you don't really have much money, you learn the creative, you learn to be resourceful. I remember you stretch every dollar. I used to be, when I go for business trip, I always get in the lowest flights at 2 a.m. and it's the cheapest hotel I can find. So that's how I started the business. Then later, when the business scaled, so I went through the whole year, went through probably over 80 different private equity, and I sold the majority to a private equity. Then that come with the lessons is when you have the capital is not just money, capital is a relationship. If you have the right capital, you can grow your business. If you have the wrong money, it can ruin your business. So that's a lot of lessons learned from that part. But I think today, when a lot of the startup, use a lot of the venture capital, I always mentor a lot of startup. I always see you have to be really careful when you get in the capital. Make sure you have the right partner in your dream.
Thank you. And Nazlı, for yourself?
Yeah, my story is actually quite similar as well. We started with our own resources. We self-financed for quite a while. And then we used bank loans, using our homes as collaterals. And they're still actually used as collaterals because in Turkey, we don't really get project financing for smaller companies. It is a different thing for larger companies, but when you're just a startup, especially 10 years ago, nobody was talking about being an angel investor. Nobody was talking about private equity. It wasn't a fancy thing. It was just big money for larger companies. So that took a while for us to get some outside equity financing. In 2020, we did have an angel investment round. And, I am doing a real business. We're in food and agriculture. And everybody wants to finance technology. It was SaaS back then, now it's AI. And when you say, okay, I have this livestock, I have this restaurants, I have these food products, you're always, okay, oh, very nice, very impressive story. But, we have all these other stuff we have to look at, the fancy stuff. But we got an investment after the first round, 5 years later, from İş Girişim. That's the private equity arm of İşbank. That's the largest financial institution in Turkey, because they wanted to invest in a real business with local impact, and that's going to grow sustainably as well. But that wasn't easy. So we still use our own financing. As I said, our homes are still used as collaterals. And I'm okay with that because that's my business. But I think, especially in Turkey, I mean, looking at US, it's such a different story. But in Turkey, where resources are really limited, it's really tough to grow a business. So, yeah.
Thank you very much. And Nazlı, maybe we can continue like this again. So every enterprise has a high point that founder realized that this is not only a going concern, but one poise for growth. Did you have a moment like this? How do you feel it? How?
Yeah, so it was around a year into we started the company, and during the lunch breaks, I used to take the calls because everybody was having their lunch. So I was talking to customers, or, you know, where's my delivery? How is this? And one day a customer from Ankara called, and she told me, our pediatrician recommended you for our allergic daughter. She's about to start eating meat. Can you tell me more about it? And at that time, we didn't really have a lot of marketing going on. We never had like ads on newspapers or anything. And she was so enthusiastic, and she was telling me about the group of mothers that she was also with. And there I understood, okay, we're not just selling a product, but this is going to be part of people's lives. So our value proposal is more than that, and we have to really deliver up to it. But that's where I actually realized. Also, another customer told me, my mother has a very serious illness, and we used your bone broth for many years, and we were very happy with it. We could see the results. So that's actually where it changed things for us.
How was it for you, Jenny?
So I think that's probably 3-4 years into the business. When I started in the beginning, started e-commerce in the 2009 for a textile company, like bedding, draperies, decorative pillows, selling online is very, very rarely, especially when you drop ship one order at a time. So it was really I thought if nobody wanted to do it and the online assortment looks really boring, I said, I'm gonna try to do it. If I can make this work, then maybe I'm the head of the game. So then we started in a very small the warehouse. I remember we used to, like, end of the day, I wear my high heel, go to the warehouse. We don't really have the racking or ERP system. It's like the mountain of the boxes in the back. And you had to shake the bottom of the boxes, then you catch the one, falling off. Then we put the FedEx, UPS, the label, then chuck into the truck. That's how we started. But at the end of the first year, we got a call from this big company, said, we want you to come to our summit, but we have very limited the money. We said, we don't have the money to go, so we didn't go. 2 days later, we got a trophy, says Rookie of the Year. So that's really, when we look at it, wow, we feel like we're definitely building something. So soon after, we expanded to Amazon, Target, all this, big different marketplace. So that's kind of started the growth.
Great, yeah.
So at the beginning, I started with 4 engineers, and we had an office with only 2 rooms. And after a few years, after 3 years, I won a huge tender, few million euros. And that was making a big change because we had to recruit, we had to find new office, and we had to think differently. When I started the company, I was sure I would be successful, so I organized already internally the way of working as if we will be 20, 50 person. But the day we won that tender, we were, I would say, crying of joy, Because for us, we knew, and I was so happy for my people, for my engineers, because it was changing their life as well, working for a successful company. So we changed office, we changed the city, we recruited, and then I had some administrative people, marketing people, and it was another scale, and it changed completely my life, because I was able to go outside and to do what I like to do, which is networking. And networking helped me also to find new business.
Great. Yeah, okay, then another question. Studies shows that if you make a business across the border, so you are going to grow 6 times faster. Are you all agree this, and do you have any plan to expand your business across the border? Of course, the nature of your business is also important, but let me start with you, Marie, this time.
Okay, for me it was a bit the opposite, because I was selling softwares which were coming from other countries. But even so, I started to distribute in France and then to Europe and North Africa. And it's true, when you start working at international level, it changed completely your mindset. It opened new doors, and it has, I would say, a wow effect. You become much more open, and I would say success is attracting success. And I always advise any company, go to international level, look at international. You know, French people, usually we don't export so much. We are not very good in language, and people are not very keen. It's true for men and women, are not very keen to go to international. So I always tell them, but you can go to French-speaking countries, like Belgium, it's very close, Canada, French-speaking part of Africa. It will be more comfortable to start, and you don't need to go to China or to go very far. You can export, you can do international business close to you, but it opened a lot of perspective.
Thank you. And Jenny?
I definitely agree. I just feel there's with the new nuance. So I feel cross-board, when you do the business globally, it's not just to ship the goods across the border. It is really understand people cross cultures. So as immigrant, I naturally sitting between the cultures. So the China really taught me the resilience and the work ethic. I think America taught me how to express the branding and the skill. So the combination become the business advantage. So for the Lush Decor, we design in the US, we manufacture globally. So it's, we always kind of think globally. So now with, we through not only like the sourcing side as international, but I feel Lush Decor, because I realize it's not just really a product business. And from my story and my journey, I understand, for the women, regardless where you come from, we all want our home to feel safe, to feel inspiring, to feel with the hope. So I think that's kind of is not really global business, more like the emotional that feeling. So that's we wanted to keep exploring the idea, not just selling across the market, really how to telling the story about the women. So that's what we are planning.
Yeah, for us, basically, Babs Naturals is actually living proof of it, because we manufactured meat and charcuterie products for 8 years before founding BAFS. But we couldn't export it to US or EU. We could only export it to Middle East, and we figured, we did some exports at first, but we figured it wasn't really what we were looking for. As you said, we didn't want to be just sending goods, but we wanted to build something global, a brand that resonated with so many people over the world. So with BAFS, we're now online in US. We sell to, as I said, 18 countries. We sell in Singapore with our own brand, in 50 states in the US, in Iceland. So this is actually something that we've always aspired. And BAFS started as a global business from day one. So we use everything we learned with Nebyan, all our experience in meat production, the supply chain, the raw materials, branding, for many years. I mean, that wasn't easy, but that let us build up a knowledge that we can use internationally and build an international business. So hopefully we'll be growing a lot more in the US soon, and we have a US company now setting up European companies and all that. So yeah, that's the future for us.
Thank you. Now, my last questions to all of you. So, in order to share with our esteemed guests here, so what was your biggest lesson learned that you can share, and like an advice who would like to make their own business? I will start with you, Nazlı, again. So,
there's obviously so many lessons learned throughout the years, but two things that I'm not doing very well, but I could maybe recommend my fellow entrepreneurs over here: employ early. We as entrepreneurs tend to try to do everything ourselves because it's a very lonely thing, because you don't have the resources, because you don't really trust anyone else can really do the job as good as you do. But mostly because you just don't have the money to employ the right people. But that's a vicious cycle I got trapped for many years. And when you hire early, then you can focus on growing the business, and then you can hire more talent, and then your business grows even further. So rather than sticking with this cycle that I chose, I think it's better to be in the other one. And also be ready to pivot. So we started with just lamb products, basically half lamb, quarter lamb delivered to your door. But now I have dog treats selling globally. I have a restaurant, and I changed many different things during the way. So be prepared. Okay, stick with your strategy, but understand it can change a lot. The products can change, the system can change. So we have to be flexible, really. And lastly, that's something I'm not very good at. I think I should be working more on it. Ask more, ask for help. Again, you can't really do everything on your own, but whenever you meet someone, it opens another door. You get to attend the meetings, you get to meet new people, and when you're open enough to share the challenges you have, I'm sure you get something new out of it that can help clear your way easily. So,
thank you.
There's just so many lessons, but I would first one, I would say, do not wait for the perfect time. If I started in 2008, if I waited, I'm probably still waiting today. Sometimes I believe, that's kind of like over the time, sometimes you feel like it's a chaos. I think the clarity is not come from before the action. The clarity is come, from the action. The second is a boring one, is as an entrepreneur, even though I'm like designer, but you have to know your numbers. And sometimes the revenue is exciting, but the cash flow keep it alive. So, and when I started talking to the private equity and, try to, at that time to selling the business, I realized, when the private equity review all the numbers, they say, oh, your gross margin doesn't feel, the EBITDA margin doesn't feel, real because it's too high. I said, I'm not just design beautiful product, I also design beautiful margin. So that cash flow is really, really important for you. The third, I would say as an entrepreneur, really protect your resilience. It's not, it's not about like the things not break. It definitely will break. The question is, when that thread break, do you have the courage or resilience to tie that knot and keep going? So that's kind of like a few lessons I learned, and I hope it can resonate with you.
Great, thank you. And Marie, last words to you.
So I have two mottos. One is, if you don't dare, you go nowhere. And the second one is the one of the Women Entrepreneurs Association. It is, alone you are invisible, together you are invincible. I applied that, I would say, all my life. If you don't try something, if you believe in something, and if you don't try, you go nowhere. And mainly women, we still have the imposter syndrome. We cannot say just a legend. It's true, and it's still true, and even for young women, they always think, or we always think, do I have the competence? Do I know enough? And so on and so on. A lot of things, like small butterflies in your belly, but you should forget about it. Maybe you will fail, but if you fail, it will be an experience, and you will base another business maybe on that experience. If you share your concerns with someone, and it's why I'm a strong believer in networks, because you can share with other people. The worst thing is to stay isolated, which is very often the case of entrepreneurs, men or women, and particularly when a difficult time is coming to you. In my career, I had some up and down. It happened that I lost one of my suppliers. So I was thinking, I will lose a part of my turnover. What should I do? I said, okay, why not doing consulting for that new company? So if you speak with someone else, you speak with your peers, and it's why women entrepreneurs networks are very helpful, because you can share your doubts, you can share your concerns, and you can see that we are all the same with our doubts, with our success. So I would advise all the women who are in the room who are not yet entrepreneurs and would like to be, just do it. You can find some help, you can find help with association, and you can join us and join Global Summit of Women. Thank you.
Thank you. So last words from my side to echo this wonderful women who shared their stories. As you listen them, each of them has a passion. For each of them, the situation was not easy. It was not like a rose garden, so the situation, it was difficult. Market conditions may not be the best, but if you have the patient belief, so you should believe in yourself is one of the most important things that three of them share with us. And also asking for support is not try to do everything by yourself is one of the most important things for women especially, because we are accustomed to do everything by ourselves. The importance of network, Maria mentioned always, this is also, so get support, try to meet new people. And another good word that I would like to echo, perfect is the enemy of good. So if you are looking to do things as a perfect way, it will never the right time. And also failing is not a failure. Fail fast, recover fast, we are learning. So believing in yourself, being brave and being passionate are one of the key elements of the success, what I hear from you ladies. Thank you very much.